I'm okay. I hope you are okay too. Let's introduce our content of chapter 1, Speech Writing from Simon Lancaster. And chapter 1 is called The Art of Speech Writing, okay? And the main objective, this is to identify and define the important components of the speech delivery. We're going to cover this one. I would like to start with this quote from Winston Churchill. It says, "Of all the talent bestowed upon men, none is apprecious of the gift of oratory. Anyone who enjoys it wields a power more durable than that of the great queen." So, becoming a great oratory, remember those are abilities and those are skills. I don't know if you have ever given a public speech, but here we will try to do it at the end of this unit, okay? So here we have the Aristotle big three of speech writing. What are they? Eros, Phaedrus, and Logos. So in 350 BC, Aristotle produced the Art of Rhetoric, which was the first definite account of the art of speech writing. It comprises 3 lectures spread out across the books. Aristotle boiled the persuasive speaking down these 3 essential elements. How about eros? This one has to do with credibility. The use of eros is to gain the trust and respect of the audience by showing that one is credible and ethical. This causes an appeal to the audience. Eros, or the speaker or the orator, uses to persuade the audience his or her character, the credibility, and also ethics. You have to create this in the visitor's mind. Examples of heroes. I will read only one example. You can read the rest here. It says, if my age doesn't convince you that you know what I am talking about, at least consider that I am your grandmother and I only want the best for you. Oh, so creating credibility in the audience mind. How about Phaedrus? This one, as you can see, the emotion here and feelings. Has to do with emotion and feeling. Phaedrus is used as a way to emotionally engage the audience. It takes into consideration the emotion of the audience and the emotions of also the argument. Examples of some emotion or samples of some eros, releasing emotion. I will choose one also. It says, you will make the right decision because you have something that not many people do. You have heart. So here it creates emotion. Maybe some people will cry, will laugh, or create in the audience different emotions. Logos. This one, as you can see, has to do with reasoning, using the brain. Logos uses logical reasoning and evidence to persuade, to convince. Logos is a type of persuasion that appeals to people's logic, making it very effective in speeches. Also, logos means proof and apparent proof. What type of proof you will use to convince the writer? Could be a famous quotation, could be statistical data, or could be examples that you can use. Okay? Example of logos. It's a matter of common sense that people deserve to be treated equally. The Constitution calls it self-evident. Why? Then should I then deny a seat because of my disease? Example of logos, creating reasoning, okay, logic. We are going to watch this one. We are going to answer this question. Okay, here we have the 3 golden principles of speech writing. Example number 1, number 1, the audience is more important than the speaker. Keep that in mind, okay? It's not you as a presenter, the audience. For example, in my case, you are more important than me because you are the one who I am putting this knowledge. The true nature of the success of a speech is not smart and self-satisfied. satisfied the speaker feels. A successful speech is one in which the speaker and the audience are aligned, that they are connected. Okay? Number 2, emotions are more powerful than logic. Here we have pathos and logic. Emotion is the nuclear button of communication, guaranteed to cause an explosive response. Our emotions are more powerful than our logic mind. Different audiences are predisposed to different emotions. We can appeal to hopes, fear, anger, affection, pride, shame, etc. Different emotions. Emotions appeals cannot be made randomly. You have to be very careful choosing them. If the speaker appeals to the incorrect emotion, it can cause a catastrophic collision. So we have to be very carefully choosing the type of emotion we are going to create. Less is more. This is the order. A speaker who presents a lot of information is unlikely to get his audience to remember everything. Speeches should contain what graphic designers call white space. We should leave the audience space to think about what we are saying. And also, audiences like to be mentally involved. If you don't mentally involve them in your speech, they will tune off. And speeches should always be judged in terms of net achievement, not growth activity. The 3 golden rhetorical devices used in speech writing. Here we have. They are formulas for constructing sentences to give your words more impact. Number 2, they are the easiest tricks for any speech writer to learn to make their writing sound more like a speech and less like an essay. And number 3, rhetorical devices are a way of signifying importance to our audience. And the rule of the 3, making our points in list of 3 will create a sense of completeness and an illusion of finality. The rule of the 3 is used to repeat a single word. For example, Abraham Lincoln's government: of the people, by the people, for the people. If you want something stuck in someone's heart and mind, put it in a sequence of 3. Imagery. Imagery allows the speechwriter to bypass rational scrutiny and strike the message deep into the audience's heart. We can use imagery to predispose our audience to particular emotions or opinions without giving them any clue that what we are doing. Metaphor is an example of imagery. Metaphor characterize the 2 different approaches to rhetoric. Aristotle says the gift of metaphor was was the most important skill for an orator. Okay? Contrast. This is the other device. Contrast heightens the senses, makes our speeches more interesting, and forces our audience to pick sides, to be convinced, okay? Different contrasts achieve different effects. Short contrasts present a sharp view of the world, while a long, widened contrast projected grandeur and intellect. Contrast is often used at the beginning of your speech. The 3 myths of speech writing that are not true. Speechwriter must write short sentences. That's not true. Speechwriter must always write in an active voice, not in the passive voice, and also not true. And you need to have an incredible mastery of English grammar. You don't need to be a master, okay? You can check at the end your grammar, but it's not necessary. Okay, thank you. As a summary, today we studied the Aristotle Big 3 speech writing: eros, pathos, and logos. The top 3 principles of speech writing include the audience is more important than the speaker, emotions are more powerful than logic, less is more. The top 3 rhetorical devices include the rule of the 3, imagery, and contrast. And the last but not the least, the top 3 myths about speech writing that are not true while giving speeches. Always write short sentences, always write in the active, and always check your grammar. Thank you for your attention, and see you next.